Do you think that the average person should be counting their calories?
I think that it depends on the person because sometimes counting your calories is helpful, right? Like sometimes people look at it and they're like, oh, I didn't realize that when I constantly walk by the pantry and randomly grab a handful of, nuts or whatever, it all adds up. And, sometimes it's helpful for people to see that. I don't think it's realistic to count your calories every day of your life for the rest of your life, though. So I think it's a good tool to help you learn what portion sizes look like, how many calories are in your meal. Maybe it helps you learn that, instead of putting, I don't know, like the heavy cream in something, you put the 2% milk, I think it's a good learning tool. Long story short, but so I don't think it's something that we should do forever and ever.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I mean, it can be kind of neurotic for some. It can be great for others. I mean, it's kind of like a lot of things. I was just curious as a dietitian, like, I'm sure there's times where you're like, hey, we need to count this because we need to figure out what we're doing and out.
Mhm.
But you're probably, if someone has, a propensity to get super obsessed about it, you're probably not having them plug into MyFitnessPal, right? Like
Right.
day in, day out.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. Okay. So a little bit of more of an amorphous question. How do we fix obesity in the United States?
I think it all kind of stems back to education. As you know, I think that's the kind of what it stems back to, and just from when kids are young too, right? Like,
Mhm.
if we grow up eating fast food for most of our meals and eating, sugary cereals and Starbucks every day, that's kind of what you're just trained to do that, right? Things like sugar it's addictive. There's lots of research studies out there that show that sugar itself can be as addictive as like certain drugs are. So if you're kind of growing up eating sugar, lots of added sugars, then you just kind of do that your whole life, pass it on to the next generation kind of thing. So I think it all stems from like education and then also bringing that back into the household. Um, there's obviously more complex than that. Otherwise we wouldn't have this issue, but I think that's can definitely be a good starting point.